Good evening.
Good evening.
It's like a pop-up BTL day 4. We had some stuff come up tomorrow. It's day 4, 2:05, so we're going to record a show. Frank's got dinner plans. I've got to shoot another podcast after this, but we've got an hour.
So we're going to nail it. We're knocking it out.
We're absolutely knocking it out. This is where it benefits those who are subscribed to God, I'm doing the like and subscribe thing. I swear I'd never do that. Who are subscribed to BTL on YouTube, and then they've clicked the notification bell, and then it notifies them. So they're probably, like a lovely steak dinner on their anniversary, and they're like, "Babe, we got to wrap this up.
Frank's, right, we got to go.
Frank's live."
Yeah.
So, and we're both like super fired up. Like, I'm coming off of my first experience with Facebook in probably a solid year. I logged on, immediately sent a snarky response to a comment that I saw, and then immediately logged off for my mental health. And then you're coming off of, it sounds like, you started to dive into it, and I had to cut you off, Frank.
Yeah, you did.
Best bass day you've had in a couple years on the water yesterday.
It was, I won't say it was right up there. It was right up there, but you just got back from, a walleye fest and a everything else fest.
Yeah, the fishing has been fantastic. And then I got another call, and I'm going to be on the Bassmaster live show at 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow on Bassmaster.com for the Elite Series on Lake 10 Killer, which is about an hour and a half drive. So therefore, the time wouldn't have worked out for us to do it. So here we are with an evening show, and it's not coffee.
I'm jealous about that too. Damn it! I have nothing around me. This was a hair scramble. I just got done rigging tackle and ran.
Well, it was not a hair scramble for you, Frank.
Factual. Factual.
All right, I want to hear all about this. So I saw on Instagram you made the post, and it looked like you cast, catch, count, and mount.
Dude, I love that statement.
Let's break it down.
Well, okay, so I have a video coming out on LureNet, and it's not done yet because we just filmed it yesterday. I have been getting a lot of responses both on my DMs and in some of the locker room sessions that I'm doing. Patterning bass throughout the seasons. We are not going to go into a super deep dive on this yet, but we are going to go so deep into it after that video airs. It's going to be ridiculous. There you go.
These are Ohio fish, Frank. Like, you weren't down in Mexico like I was or anything. These are out of Ohio.
Oh yeah. This is local bass, man. And so we had to film this video. It was a ludicrous day. So, all right. So you know what? F it. I'm going to tell you something. So you could go SCALISH_fishing and see those pictures.
But not on Facebook, just Instagram.
That's right. Not on Facebook.
Thank God.
Instagram. So right. I get my esteemed cameraman. Everybody met him on the show, Joe. So me and Sharapa, we're out there, and I have to do this video. So I'm doing hybrid videos now. They're going to be partial studio, partial. Dude, this isn't an interruption in happy hour. This makes it an extra happy hour. So exactly. Blue Cat, it's always beer 30.
Keep going. I'm just putting comments up just to just to enhance the story.
Okay, so they're going to be it's a combination where I can go semi-studio, semi-deep dive on the water, actually show some fishing, back to the studio, end of the show kind of thing. So it's the first time we're doing something like that. So we get out there and so here's the deal. Okay, so for those of you that know, if you want to do a locker room, it's SCALISH_fishing. DM me. We'll set a time. We'll set it up. So there's a reason for this. So in some of the locker rooms I was doing, and in some of just the comments, that I get from the anglers, there's a big disconnect on pattern fishing, not finding a pattern, but locating the bass during the transitional periods from one season to the other season. So that's what this video is about. And so I've said this before. So in the springtime, you want to fish shallow to deep, and you want to stay on structure. And Matt alluded to this in the last show. You want to stay on structure that's connected to the mainland still. So the lake that I went to, I haven't been to in probably 2 years. And I chose it for that reason alone, because I'm not sure what's going on over there. And so this would give me the opportunity to put the game plan together, the blueprint, if you will, for the seasonal shifts. And then I can do it live. So, well, recorded, but live. So that's what we did. So literally, I go to the first piece of structure that's connected to the mainland and has a pretty solid spawning area on the bank behind it. And I know from past history that the bass spawn there. The water was high. It was actually a little bit flooded, and there was a lot of shoreline cover in the water. So I was a little concerned, but by not doing this random, by having a plan of attack, I knew that I could work my way shallow to out, and I'll run into the fish. I'm going to intercept
Classic day 4 pattern. That way you're not randomly, haphazardly running around the lake. You're starting with a plan, and then you're not skipping over the fish by just going here, there, there, there. You're starting Correct. And you're methodically working your way until you locate the best biomass of catchable largemouth.
100%. So there's a method to the madness. So we go to the bank, and I'm excited and not excited. I'm excited because it could be a hell of a flipping bite, chatterbait bite, spinnerbait bite. Wind was honking. I mean, conditions were right for moving baits on the banks, the windy banks especially. So nada, flipping, pitching, spinnerbaiting, chatterbaiting, swim jigging, nothing. So that told me almost everything I needed to know right then and there. So I go to this landmass that comes out that's still connected. It's kind of, I'm going to call it a flat, but it could be a point, but it's not really, because it comes way out and it's long and it's flat, and it's just got a creek channel that touches the end of it. And so I fish my way out to there. And when I get to the creek channel edge, I catch a giant on a fat-free 7. I'm like, okay. I cast the Carolina rig up there. I got one on, and I lose them. And I never
use a Carolina rig.
No, that is so not true, because that was the savior of the day. So anyhow, it comes off. The bite, like you didn't even feel the bite. You felt nothing. Like all of a sudden, what I felt was my Carolina rig didn't feel right. It just didn't. The sinker was bouncing on the bottom, but man, it didn't feel right.
What was the bottom? What was the composition?
Okay, so the composition, this is a good thing, because the composition, there's a hard spot on top that's probably flat rock, but it has willows that used to grow on it from when the water was down. Little baby willow buckbrush was on the top of it. Most of the buckbrush is gone, but the root systems are still there. So you could feel the rig going through the roots, or the crankbait walking around them. Then you hit the rock, little bit of grass, but it's not really a grass lake at all. But there's a little bit of grass growing, but the grass was irrelevant. Then you get to the rock that like stops your Carolina rig. Boom, boom, big chunk rock. So it goes from flat rock to chunk rock and breaks down from there. And so as I was coming over the break line, that's when things started to feel goofy on the Carolina rig. And I'm like, that's not right. And then I tighten up on them and I got them and I lean back on them. So 3 crankbait fish come off of there and 4 Carolina rig fish come off of there.
Wow.
For a 5 fish limit of over 23 pounds, by the way. So I'm like, holy crap. We're running this pattern right now. So I motor down the lake, got another spot very similar. It only the way it goes, this spot goes, it's connected from the rear end of the high spot. It's connected, but there's a dead end ditch that runs around it. So it's like a saddle. So it's semi-connected. The wind's honking. I got to fish it backwards, like spot lock the boat, casting off the back deck because I can't position the boat properly.
Can't believe you're using technology like that. Back in my day, we had to stay on the front and use our trolling motor to stay into the wind. You just hit the button, and now you're just catching them every cast.
Hey, I gotta tell you, when it's to your advantage,
tell you what, technology will make an average guy a hero, Frank.
Amen.
All right, continue.
So anyway, pick up the rig, throwing the rig out, getting these funky bites. You can't even feel them. It's almost like they get the money craw and they're just swimming with you. It's not like they're biting it and running. It's like they're swimming with you, and so it feels funny. You know what I mean? It's just there's something funny about it.
Mushy, something like yeah.
It's like you're dragging it on a sponge instead of what you're supposed to be dragging it on. Anyhow, we obliterated them there. Obliterated them. Crankbaits, Carolina rigs, and here, fat-free shads, number 6s and fat-free shad number 7s were the deal. The deeper stuff got the 7. The shallower stuff got the 6. The Carolina rig got everything. Everything. So I make a move. I told Joe, I said, Joe, I have a place that I haven't caught him on in a long, long time. But the way the conditions are, they should be there. Like, they should really be there. So we go there, we run over there, and I double up on it. I crack a 6, and I got her, and she's coming in. Joe's throwing the crankbait. I got mine on the Carolina rig. Joe's throwing the crankbait. He gets one. He can't even turn it. Like, he goes to me, he goes, oh my God, dude, this is a monster.
And he fishes too. He's not just a camera guy. He's an outdoor fisherman. Like, he can handle a rod and reel.
Yeah, and a rifle. I mean, the dude hunts his ass off. So he's locked and loaded. I'm fighting mine. I turn around and look at him, and it's like he snagged a car bumper. It's just stopped, and the rod's just going whoom, whoom, whoom. He loses his. I get mine in. So we take a couple pictures, do a little bit of B-roll, let it go. I get another money craw, re-rig the Carolina rig. I throw back out. Joe gets one. I get one. They're both 4-pounders. And then it was like so here, the first limit was, and we lost some big ones, dude. We lost some big ones, which I hate to say that because I almost fished 98%. Yeah. I mean, I almost never lose a bass. And
I can attest to that. I don't think in the time that we fished together, I don't think I've seen you lose a fish.
Yeah, I mean, I got everything just so tight and honed in. Anyhow, I'm sorry, but I'm jacked up because this was epic. So anyway, so we lost some good ones, and the ones we landed. So I got my batteries. I got new batteries. Got the scale. So the first limit we had, the first best limit we had, was 23 and change.
Out of Ohio.
Yeah. The second best limit we had was 20 and change. The third best limit we had was 19 and change. And the fourth best limit we had was hovering somewhere between 17 and short of 18 pounds.
Oh, you blasted him.
It was disgusting. I mean, towards the end of the day, we stopped putting them even on a scale.
Okay. now you're telling this story, and here's what I've noticed, Frank. So it's June 11th when they're recording. What are water temperatures up in
the water temperature on this particular body of water was 68.5.
Okay. I'm gonna zoom in on something, and this is one of the fish that you had, and this is dorky, but I noticed this, and all of the fish that you posted in the photo, and I zoomed in on it. There is that tail is perfect. There is no blood. There is no markings on those fish. Right. There's no healing tail on the fish. That very first big one had a little bit missing on it, but it was 100% healed up. So you had to be
here. The bass.
You see what I'm saying there? Like it shocked to me that they were that clean, that far north, this early in the year.
This year they started spawning, and the water temperature was 54 degrees. I was catching them on beds in 54 to 55 degree water temperature. And here, I'm going to tell you guys, especially for those up north. Yeah, so that's the one with the little shaved tail, but it's clean. It's healed.
Yeah, I noted. I mean, I looked, these fish were immaculate. I was not expecting to see immaculate fish that early in Ohio.
No, me either. And so here's what happened. So we had for the first time in a bunch of years, we had a miserably cold winter, and we froze literally at Christmas. And it was frozen the entire winter all the way to the spring thaw. So here's what happens up north when we get a freeze like that. As soon as the ice starts to leave the lake, the bass are already where they want to be. I've done videos where there's still ice on part of the lake, and I'm catching them on spawning flats with jerk baits in 2 to 4 feet of water.
Mm-hmm.
So when we have an exceptionally cold winter, everything speeds up. The whole process speeds up. I don't care what the water temperature is. I've argued with friends of mine when I tell them that I've actually fished spawners in low 50 or mid 50 degree water temperature. They told me I was crazy, and I said no. I've done it. I've done it a million times. It's just, it happens, and our spawn was over like that.
So these were not post-spawn fish. These were summer fish. They had to be summer fish, right? Or would you consider them post-spawn still?
They were still on post-spawn areas.
Okay.
I think what happened was they milled. Like I said, because I haven't been to the lake, they milled in the mid zone for a while. So like, let's say I went there 3 weeks ago. It could have been a chatterbait bite from hell in that 4 to 6 foot zone. You know what I'm saying? Where all I do is get on the contour and just start paralleling that 5 to 7 foot contour line, and just do that. It could have been. So it was really exciting for a change to actually go out and have everything work exactly the way it's supposed to work. The only glitch in the game was the wind was brutal. But I will say this, totally conventional fishing, zero live scope. The only thing live scoped helped me do was see the break line. So because I had to pull away from the break line, spot lock, and cast off the back of the boat. So here's what I did. I pulled off the brake and turned my trolling motor around. Yeah, the money crop. That is, you guys got to do me a favor. I want everyone to start calling in, writing in, and tell them they need to make some special colors in that bait.
That's what you were using. I literally pulled it up off of the picture. You caught them on the Bama Magic, Bama Magic Yum Money Crop, $3.99 a pack.
It's my
actually they're not $3.99 a pack. Why is that, Frank?
I bet it's Father's Day.
Well, also the loyal listener,
BTL 25
loyal listener, so 15% off that.
Yeah, now I gotta go. When we hang up, I gotta go buy 100 more.
There's our obligatory lure net pump.
Yeah.
All right, back to the game.
So I used live scope to make sure I was far enough away from the break, because one of the big ones I caught, my spot lock is acting possessed. So it's moving me around in about a
you need to do that deal where you calibrate it.
I tried it. It won't come up on my button, my control. So if anyone could help me.
Dude, we're with the Bass Tank at Scott Palmer. You have his cell phone number. It's literally one call away, Frank.
Duh. Yeah, my bad. It's my bad. Okay, I'm in a brain fog. I've had
too many.
I've had a cold for 8 days. This cold would have killed 10 ordinary men, mind you. So I survived something special here. So yeah, so I used the spot lock to make sure that I was far enough away from the break, because I caught a couple right underneath my outboard. Now, granted, it was 10, 12 feet deep underneath my outboard, but I caught them underneath the outboard. So anyway, so Matt, I was telling you, I wish you were up here in the worst possible way, because when I was looking around, moving around on the trolling motor and looking, I saw so many fish floating, dude. Like, I think a lot of them were bass, because what was happening was, I think I got it right in the transition where these fish are starting to gravitate more to a true summer pattern. And I think a lot of them are leaving that connected structure to get to the unconnected structure, because I noticed that in areas where there was unconnected stuff, there was more fish floating in those areas. So I think they were actually making their way out. It was the coolest thing to see. The technology buffs out there that groove on their technology, this is the coolest thing in the world, because it enlightens what we talk about on the show.
Yeah.
So not to occupy the whole show, but
it's your show. The whole point is for you to occupy the whole show, Frank.
Yeah, but you're part of it, Matt, and I want you to be.
Oh, I'm part of it, because I've got, when you're done with this train of thought, I've got a very pertinent question to this that I've been pondering for the last 5 minutes.
Perfect. So anyway, we're going to deep dive this, and we're going to deep dive it as soon as the video breaks, because I don't want to blow the specialty of this video. But the video is a condensed version of the deep dive. It's going to give you 5 bullet points that, if you follow these bullet points in a non-random fashion, you are going to find fish. It's bulletproof. And I hate to say that, but it's bulletproof. Anyhow, when the video breaks, we are going to go so deep into this, it's going to be outstanding. Anyway, What's your question?
So it sounds to me like you started with the plug is how you found them, and then you cleaned house with the sea rig.
Yeah, because what was happening was the Carolina rig was actually catching bigger quality, and the bass, when they hit the crankbait, you didn't even know they hit the crankbait. The only thing you felt was the crankbait stopped vibrating. That was the only clue that the bass got it. It just stopped vibrating.
So do you think they were eating it so aggressively they were sucking it all the way to the back of their throat? Or
I think the opposite.
You think they were nipping it?
I think they were just swimming with it, just getting it and swimming with it.
So we noticed this in Mexico. You had fish that were set up on the bottom on rock on transition structure that was attached to the bank that were post-spawn fish, identical to what you just did, except a little bit further south where the salsa's a little spicier.
And a little bit bigger bass.
Yes.
By about 4 pounds bigger.
But, and we were proudly scoping them. But we were also throwing a deep diving plug on them. And if you had fish that you knew were set up and you ran a plug through them, you could catch a couple, typically not the biggest ones out of it, but it would move a lot of fish on the bottom. You would maybe see one. You put a plug down there and grind it through the bottom.
You'd see them.
They would move. And then when you went back with the minnow or a soft plastic, they would, this is it. They wouldn't react nearly the same as they would if you hit them with the slow presentation first. You would see them ambush it and come up and eat it. But if you hit him with the plug, you would see him go, whoa, what was that? And then it was harder to get him to bite. So what we ended up doing was we'd start with that, and then we'd clean up with the plug. We would do it in the reverse order, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. So, and this happens offshore all the time. They'll have a preference, one or the other. And it usually comes down to 3 things, except this, now we got to go 4 things. It usually comes down to the Carolina rig, the crankbait, or the football jig is what it usually comes down to for the quality bite. Now you have to throw the jig and minnow in there because it is absolutely paramount that you throw the jig and minnow in there. Like I said, I couldn't fish it because I had to keep the nose of the boat out.
Even if you don't have live scope, you need to be throwing the jig and minnow. You need to be blind minnowing it just like you would fish a football head, just like you would fish the shaky head. You need to find that structure on your 2D or on the map, cast it out, let it get to the bottom, work it back in. It's helpful if you have the forward-facing sonar. What we are discovering is it is not necessary at all. It is a lethal technique. You need to add that to your repertoire, even if you are the most vehemently opposed forward-facing sonar guy.
Yeah, you do need it because it is massively effective.
Sorry,
and the only thing you have to do with the minnow game, there's a couple things. Matt's way better at it than I am by a long shot. But the thing that I noticed with the minnow game is, do they want a straight tail? Do they want a paddle tail? Do they want a big one, or do they want a little one? I want to say color almost doesn't matter, but it matters because it matters because it has to be the right color for the watercolor that you're fishing, and the bait that the bass are after. But it's amazing because here I was fishing a couple of days earlier in a different body of water, much cleaner, a lot cleaner actually, and I did catch some blind casting a minnow because again the wind has not been my pal. And so I'll be honest with you guys, probably the last, except for when I went crappie fishing, the last 5 or 6 bass trips I made, I only looked at live scope to see the cover or the structure I was fishing. I didn't live scope at all for bass. Everything was done 100% conventionally. So that's just how it's going. But I have a hunch, and I'm going back because I think those floaters are largemouth, and I'm going to try to get them before they get to the offshore structure.
Yeah,
it's a personal thing. You know what I mean?
I had to feel good though to get on a It's actually what we've been talking about on the show the last couple weeks, to get on it and just, you've had weather, you've had all sorts of stuff over the last year and a half there in Ohio, and I feel like this is a first like really true setup, cave their heads in day that you've had where they didn't know what was happening and you guys did.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I have a friend of mine that he fishes the bank year round. He's a bank fisherman and he loves it. He loves to see the stuff he throws at. I do that as well, but my home is as far off the bank as I can get. That's where I live. And so this is exciting to me because this is my jam. I mean, I hate to say that, but this is where I live. Frankie's in Toledo Bend right now.
Yeah, that's a cool story. So Kurt Dove does the pro bass camp. Yeah. He's done it for I think about the last 10 years, where he takes kind of the high school kids who are bass nerds. And when when Kurt was in high school, he went to all the basketball camps. So was obsessed with it, but he also obsessed with it. But he also wished that there was a camp for serious bass fishermen where they could go and really dive in. So he created that. Long story short, he's expanded it, and they have instructors, and they needed an instructor kind of a last minute. A guy blew his motor up and wasn't able to be at Toledo Bend. They have a full camp. And one of the other instructors, Joe LaBarbera, he's like, man, we're kind of in a jam here. And he said, well, let me call Frankie. And Frankie went from Ohio down to Toledo Bend. And I was talking to Juice about it. And he's like, man, those kids are so lucky. He's like, I'll never tell them this publicly, but like, I learned so much from being in the boat with Frankie. He's so meticulous. He's like, I'm sure he, got it from his old man there. But so he's down with high school kids, kind of walking them through for 4 days there on Toledo Bend.
Yeah, and the bite's been good and bad. They had one weather day where they couldn't get out, mostly due to big wind. Mm-hmm. But the bite's been kind of but they've been catching a few. Frankie had one good day with his guys. They kind of bailed on the deeper stuff what they were doing and went frogging, and they crashed them frogging.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who was it? Oh, yeah. LP Bass said he's been on a mad frog bite for 3 weeks.
Yeah, which is so cool. I love the frog bite. I grind my teeth when I throw a frog. Waiting for the blow up, I clench my jaw. And at the end of the day, my jaw hurts so bad I couldn't chew a piece of gum. I mean, I don't know what it is. You're waiting for that.
You need a mouth guard. You need the Frank Scalish Signature Series.
Yeah.
Wearing that mouth guard. Are you an intense frogger?
Right. If frogging is giving you headaches.
Well, good, dude. I'm glad to hear it. It sounded like last week, too, after the day after, day 4 on Thursday, you went out and cracked some giant crappie. I know you'd said on the show you were planning on going out and doing it, and it looked like that was a smashing success as well.
Yeah, it was absolutely unbelievable. And Matt, I gotta tell you, man, I gotta give credit where credit is due. When you and I were out in your neck of the woods, and we were catching them literally inches underneath the surface, I was scoping. Frog injuries are real. I love it. I was literally, I went to these deep stumps that I had, and I did a quick swipe by, and there was fish on them. So I lobbed the minnow out there, and the minnow's going down to the fish, and I stopped it and started doing that. And he comes right up and eats it, and it's almost a 2-pound crappie. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. So there's about 3 or 4 more. It wasn't loaded. There was just a few. And I had one come to it, nip it. I set up on him, and he swam away. I reeled in. I cast to the next one. I caught it. And while I was doing all that, chasing that fish around, I saw like half pieces of long glow bobs on the top of the water. Yeah. And I'm like, there is no effing way that there is no
there is way. An effing way, Frank.
And so, and the only reason I recognize that was because when we were doing it, that's what they look like. So I just made a errant little pitch, and I couldn't see the bait or anything. Usually you could see where it splashes on the water on the live scope. I couldn't see it, so I just started slowly reeling it. My rod loads up, and I get another giant. And I'm like, oh my God, I have never, ever seen them that close to the surface.
They stun themselves, man.
Dude.
They stun themselves big time. They're literally that far under the surface, and they're like that in 37-degree water, and they're like that in 7. It's almost like someone should do a show about how to catch those fish and call it, I don't know, Crappie Talk Live that kicks off on October 1st every other week.
Outstanding. I'm gonna be a loyal fan. I'm gonna get on the message board and
loyal fan. You're gonna be a guest host on a couple episodes.
Well, that'll be awesome. I'm honing my crappie skills, Matt. Next skills.
I always feel pressure going crappie fishing with you because, you go with Juice and he's like, oh, look, a bird. Do you want a beer? Oh, look at this Instagram post. And then you go with you and it's just like, must find crappie, must find crappie,
I know.
Crappie.
It's tunnel vision, man. I can't help it.
I feel a lot of pressure, but it always turns into an epic time.
There's no pressure, man. I just love to fish. There's no pressure. It was fun. My cameraman the other day, he fucking put the smack down on him. I had to work from, because I told you I had to fish it backwards. Like the the wrong. I had to fish it backwards, and so Joe was on the back deck, and so what I actually did was I didn't actually jump on the back deck. I actually stood at the end of my rod locker, so I wouldn't have to cast an extra 9 or 10 feet. You know what I mean? And so the last spot of the day that we fished, I will confess, I have fished that spot before, and I have never, ever taken a bass off of it.
I thought you did. I was like, did I mishear that?
What?
He dropped an F-bomb, Frank.
Did I?
Yeah. It was so smooth.
Oh, holy smokes. I apologize.
Going back, did I like mishear that, or what was the deal? John called you out.
Holy crap. I didn't mean that.
Oh, that's okay. We can edit it out of the replay.
I get so amped up, guys. I
know. This is a real conversation. We're about to have another real conversation, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so this particular piece of structure, the wind was in my favor, and I could point the trolling motor at it. And so I go there, and I got one on somewhere between 5 and 6 pounds. And Joe goes, I got to get the camera on that one. We're going to use it for B-roll. So he's fumbling with the camera. So I'm holding it down there with the Carolina rig, just letting it fight itself. I'm not pulling on it or nothing. I'm keeping tension. It's dogging. It's not jumping. It's dogging. It's not jumping, right? Mm-hmm. So he gets the camera, and I can see he's on it. It jumps and comes off. And I'm like, no. And so I said, don't worry. I saw some more on it. We're going to catch another one. So I cast back out. I catch one. Now it wasn't as big. It was probably only 4.5 pounds, but I got it. We got the video. Did I do it again?
No, you're just feeling yourself today. You're like, it was only 4.5 pounds.
Yeah, I know. That's so bad.
It was super smooth.
That's so bad. So anyway, I caught about 3 or 4 more, and I looked at Joe, and I could see his disgust, because it was a total deal where he's got to cast 21 feet to get to the front of the boat. You know what I mean? And so I could see his disgust, and I turned around, I looked at him, I said, hey, Slick, I said, I've been fishing like that the entire day today, just so we're clear.
Nice.
But yeah, he's a lot of fun to fish with, man. He's so laid back.
Very talented too.
Yeah, he's super laid back, man.
You want to wrap it up with what made me not laid back?
Yes, I do.
I don't ever talk about this stuff. I don't know why. I just felt like it. So, we talked about the Mexico trip last week, right?
Yes.
And how it caught a 10-4 in the last hour for Team USA in Mexico, 36-pound bag. I was a fill-in. I had no business being there.
Dude, you guys put
and the trophy hat will be up there for eternity.
Put the smackdown on
it was awesome. Had such a great time. And someone messaged me, was like, dang, have you seen the Facebook comments? I said, well, obviously not. I don't get on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in a year.
Yeah.
So I get on the USA Basset.org Facebook page, and they did McCoy recorded little clips of it, and it's the 10-pounder, and I'm going, like I said, I went nuts. I was going, oh my gosh. But
it's okay.
There's an hour left fishing for Team USA to give us close to a 40-pound bag in Mexico. I mean, it's a freaking, it is what it is. That's how I am. I get excited. I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to apologize for that at this point. I apologized for that when Mark gave me crap back, when I was younger. But when
you were just a boy.
There's a post out there. I'm going to read the post and then my response. And this is why I don't get on Facebook. This I literally laughed. This amused me, but also fired me up at the same time. Roku Mata. That's his name.
Okay.
That's not fishing, morons. This is a game. That is a game that less than capable people play to make themselves feel better and relevant when in any other case would have been watching people like me. You get that happy when you actually fish for them using instincts and actual experience to locate and hope to hit it once. You act like you beat Mike on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on Nintendo. You're the guy that couldn't get off the bench in high school sports and probably couldn't get a girl also.
Holy smokes, dude.
So I just responded, which I have not responded ever to anyone like that, and said, I'd like to extend an invitation for you to be on the BTL podcast and dive into your analysis live on air. Shoot me a DM so we can get it booked. And I'm going to have Court sitting next to me wearing my gold medals and my OU hockey jersey.
Outstanding. Oh, dude, I hate Facebook.
Would that not be an amazing segment if that dude was like, yeah, I'll come on?
If he's got the cojones to go, he should go.
If he's got the balls to write that, to say that, come on for a segment. And I'm not going to badmouth you. I'm not going to belittle you.
Right,
but I mean,
no point.
I mean, let's talk some facts here.
Yeah. Look.
ROQUEMATA.
Look, I'm a student of the game. And if this technology...
And I immediately logged off Facebook. I was like, I'm good until 2026.
Yeah, that's about how I feel about it. You got to be a student of the game. You know, I'm an instinctual fisherman by nature, by love and addiction. I don't run away from LiveScope because I want to be good at it and I want to know everything I can know about it. That's just because it's another facet of the sport that I want to learn. That doesn't mean I'm going to go throw away everything I got and buy 30 spinning rods and be a minnow chucker the rest of my life. But
minnow chucker.
Yeah, but what it does mean is that it's going to be part of the arsenal. When I see one floating, I can go catch it.
Yeah, I got no cow. I have about I have about 150 message requests on here.
Yeah, dude.
If you message me on Messenger, I apologize.
Yeah, so I look at that. I have a Facebook account. I don't ever use it, and every now and then I got to get on it for something. And at one point in time, I had like 600 and something. I don't even know what they are because I don't even use Facebook. And I said, nope. But the guys that DM me, I answer every one of them
on Instagram.
If they Instagram me DM, I answer every one of them.
Yep. I'm not hateful towards the guy. I'm not like, dude, that deserves a freaking call out. Sit on the bench in sports and couldn't get any chicks because I thought 10 pounders was excited for Team USA when he has no idea how hard Andrew worked and map study.
Yeah, and
pattern together against the other 54 boats, 50 of which had LiveScope as well.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. It took all that intellectual knowledge and the instinctive knowledge to find and locate those fish. The technique and how you caught them, I don't want to say is irrelevant, but the relevant factor here is if you didn't have the instincts of not normal bass fishing, but conventional bass fishing, you would have never found those fish.
Mm-hmm. And Clay says, he goes, I've been DM attacked for my comments in this exact chat. But well, Clay says some dumb stuff sometimes. And I can say that as one of our most loyal listeners, but he stands by what he stands for and he does it. And I appreciate the hell out of him. I know you do too, Frank.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss a show, but.
No, and here's the thing, dude. Who among us has not done a stupid thing or two?
Oh, we all have. And I love the feedback. I love the interaction. I'm all about it. But I don't know. It just got me fired up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell Frank that because I got a good chuckle out of that.
Dude, I think it was a smooth move to invite him on the show and let him.
Dude, that would be a great segment.
It would be.
I'd give it a 0.1% chance that he actually is like, okay, you're right. Let's come on and chat about that on BTL.
Yeah, I don't know what the outcome of that would be. I think it's just going to be, this is what I think, and I'm right, and then you're wrong, probably. But I just love this sport so much. I can't.
Thank God I met Court before I got good at LiveScope.
I know you'd have been.
She would have found out. I know. We would have been like 2 dates deep, and she'd be like, "So, what's your fishing style?" And I would have been like jig and minnow, and she would have been like, "Ooh, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out." I got to be with a flipper.
Yeah, exactly. I got to be with a power fisherman.
Yeah.
Oh, big line and big rods.
That's a good time.
That's fun. That's fun. I'm glad we did this live instead of recording.
Yeah, no, I told you.
Remember, Father's Day specials on lurenet.com. Call and complain. Tell them you need more colors in the Yum Money Craw.
We'll end with this just to make everyone happy. There's the LureNet specials, Father's Day specials.
Perfect.
Covert series, Bandit 200s, Chuggins.
They got some Normans
Long
in there
A's.
too.
Oh, you got the Harvest Moon color in there. The nice. Tiny ends. Holy cow. Those are all, that's a lot of good deals for Father's Day.
Yeah, wait, stop a minute. Look at the price on them.
Yeah, $4.79.
$4.79.
$5 for a plug.
Oh my gosh, man.
Once again, Frank, make a call before you go on and use the Father's Day special pricing. I think you should be able to get some headed your way. It does not, Peter. It does not apply. That's only regularly priced items that the BTL 25. You could try it. I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, try it anyway. Oh, they got NXSs in there too.
It does work. That's not our problem. Good for you.
Oh, Matt, you're such a scoper.
Look at that. You got the lizard, pulse minnows, the Helgramites, and the dingers.
Outstanding.
All sorts of good stuff.
Yeah,
Norman on there.
I'm glad to see Normans are on there, man.
Yep. Oh, the Rebel Cricket Hopper, Poppin' Blazing Hopper. Get out of town. Shocked that one's in stock still.
Dude, that is a bluegill masher. All you got to do is just tie it one single feather on the back hook.
Oh, I never even thought about that, Frank.
Yeah, one tiny little feather on the back hook, and you will absolutely catch the brains out of them. I'm paranoid that I'm going to drop another F-bomb.
Well, we'll just wrap it up. You got a dinner with Rachel?
Yeah, man, we got a date night tonight.
Don't say exactly where, because I know the Day 4 listeners were, but like what type of cuisine are we talking about here?
Oh, just American.
Oh, okay.
Typical steak.
Like patio stuff or inside?
No, inside. It's too freaking hot. Now it's blowing a lot. It's blowing like a hurricane right now as I look outside. And tomorrow it's supposed to be light and variable, and I'm going to have to check the weather again because it looks like they hit this one 100% on the nail.
We'll let you go. Academic mailbox, great topic. We need to put that on the list. Matt, Frank could do an episode on how to pack a boat for fishing. I would love to know how you pack your tackle in the boat.
Yeah, I'm that's anal.
You're the guy to talk to. I'm just saying, future episode, put that on the list. I know we've got a list. A list there, but that's good. So
yeah, that's good. Show ideas are always welcome, and most of the time they get addressed.
All right. Well, this has been another edition.
Have fun tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, if you guys are interested, 10 a.m. Central Time, log on, watch the goings on at 10K. It'll be very interesting. Lake's 6 foot high. It's a 12,000 acre fishery. I think like 6,000 acres is maybe in play. You got bush flipping offshore, top water, smallmouth, spotted bass, largemouth, all of that. I will be on Bassmaster Live on Bassmaster.com, like the show, at 10 a.m. Central Time, which is why we did an evening show tonight.
Outstanding.
And you're going fishing again tomorrow? So we do BTL tonight, dinner date with the bride, and then whack and stack in the morning.
Oh, and it's going to be.
Life is good for Frank Scalish. This has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish. We will talk to everyone later. See ya.